welcome to another episode of, what is this episode called?
Unboxed Live.
Man, I was doing too many box presses. I was like,
Totally.
well, welcome to another episode of Box Press. I'm your host, Rob Gagner. Anyways, hey, let's do that again. Welcome to another episode of Unboxed Live. I'm your host, Rob Gagner.
I'm your other host, Nate Beck.
Hey, guys, we're going to switch up the format here, so it's going to go quick pace. So if you got questions, comments, start going, start jamming, because we are going to make this a very efficient video.
Get in it.
We've got the baller. The baller is definitely a very new and crazy tool. There's a half wheel article here where it's showing you what it looks like. It literally, if I could explain it as anything, it's a melon baller for your cigar.
Kind of looks like a padlock. That's what I think it looks like.
Yeah. And there's a couple of nuances that I particularly like, and some things that I'm like, I wish they could change this. So we'll get into it. But look at that cigar on that half wheel post. It literally is a clean cut of the melon out of the head of that cigar.
Yep.
And what I love about it, Nate, is that typically when they're rolling that cigar, on the end of it, they got some fold over, they got some leftover.
It's a few layers.
It kind of builds up. And when sometimes when you just barely nip it, you still get chunks of that.
Do you ever notice that when you just peel the cap off with your finger?
Yeah.
And you'll still see a bunch of that extra wrapper or binder up in there?
Right. And I don't particularly like that because then it ends up in my teeth and it's all over the place.
Yep.
So now you have the baller. But I like two things. One, you can go ahead, if we do the up close shot here, let me get my mic further over while I'm talking and doing this stuff. You could just go like this and place it. But what I think might be helpful is sometimes you just set it down because you do have to put pressure down on it.
Yep.
And then just do see how it lifted up? I don't know if you can see that. It lifted up.
Yep, a little bit.
So look at that. Not a great cut on that. I don't know if you can see it or if it's focusing, but overall, not a great cut. Guess what?
We'll go a little bit closer here.
Guess what?
There we go.
Yeah, not a great cut.
Yep.
You can redo it. That's the cool thing about this. I did mine
twice.
Yes.
And we got this. Let's get this in there. There we go. Oh, right back here a little bit. Over there a little bit. There we go.
I'm going in for a third
cut.
It's a
nicer cut in there. So depending on the shape of the head of that cigar, you might get a really clean cut the first time. But if not, just go back in for one more cut and it gets it just perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
And actually, I've done this one like 4 times now. It's almost like a straight cut.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
I'm
going to try that.
With the stuff removed, like all the buildup. Now, obviously, you still get some because you're cutting tobacco. Let's be honest.
Oh, I like that.
So overall, I've used it a lot. I was testing a ton of it this whole week, this whole month. And I like it. I like it a lot.
I like it too, Rob. And I got to admit, because I tried my first cigar this morning with this cigar baller.
Yep.
And I have always found with a punch cut that no matter how much I like the smoking of it, because it's kind of a cool idea because it keeps all the bits out of your teeth, I almost always get tar buildup.
Yes.
And then I got to go back in and straight cut that cigar.
And let's be honest, I've gotten tar buildup on this before.
Yep.
It happened to me, but guess what? I came back, I straight cut it, or you can baller it again.
Yep.
And it went away.
Yep.
And it happens even on straight cuts for me. So it's more prevalent on punches, sometimes on the baller, depending on how the ring gauge is. Now, this is a pretty small ring gauge cigar.
Yep.
So we're going to go ahead and test some other bigger ring gauges. But let's talk about some features of the baller. One, the blade itself, just the little tiny ball that's in the center of this takes 22 minutes to make.
What it looks like in the back.
22 minutes just to make that blade. Not any other part of the mechanism, not any other part of the housing. It's intense labor work on the machinist side. So the price tag, I believe, is going to come at either $125 or $150, depending upon where you're at. And you think about it, you go, man, that's expensive.
But this is substantial.
It's very substantial.
It's got weight to it. Like it's
heavy.
Like it's heavy.
My second thing, up at the top, it wiggles. The top part wiggles. There's two Allen wrenches or Allen wrench head things that hold that top piece onto the metal bars that go all the way down through the housing. And thus there's a crossbar. If you can see that crossbar, those two metal guide bars push that crossbar down to roll that ball. And so what I did is I got this, and this top piece, this handle here that was wiggling, this was, you can kind of hear it in the microphone.
Yep. I can hear
it wiggles. And I was like, what the heck? This thing's a piece of garbage. It came not fully tightened from the manufacturing. It's meant to be that way. Because guess what? I tightened it and it wouldn't close. Two things happen. One, it's loose so that it can self-align when you're pushing it down. Two, in the back, I don't know if you can see it. There's notches. See where that crossbar comes in? There's a notch in that down bar. And what ends up happening is that crossbar, there's a little tiny window in the down bar that is notched out. When you over tighten it, it turns this giant bar, it turns it. So then this can't move freely in that window, and it bound up.
Yep.
I was like, well, why doesn't it work now?
Uh-huh.
And then I realized I'm manipulating this outside of its comfort zone.
Correct.
So those are the nuances that I would tell you gotta know before you go ahead and buy it, because it's not going to be for everyone. But when you do get it, know that one, it's supposed to be loose. Two, it's not for every cigar, but
even cooler, Rob, the little slots that the crossbar sits in are actually a little wider.
Right.
And that bar kind of moves in and out on those slots. And so if you tighten those, it can't move in and
That's
out.
That's what I mean.
Slots.
Here, let's get a close-up shot of that. I don't know if you can see this, Matt. Okay, watch as it moves. See the bar come up?
It's got to go around that,
and then watch it drop back
inside there.
Yeah, watch it drop back down. Boom, It drops back down. It has to do that.
Does it there and it there.
If you tighten, these too much, then it twists these, which then makes the window for the bar off. And we're talking like fractions of a millimeter here, you know? So you got to know what you're getting. There's Loctite on these upper screws, by the way, so they won't come undone. And if they did, the company would totally back you up and send you new ones or replace it or whatever. I'm putting it out there. The guys at CigarMedic are absolute amazing guys. They don't want you to invest in something that you don't use, or this is not a throwaway product.
Nope.
This is not a $5 cutter that you just pick and go, and if you lose it, you lose it.
I don't tend to do much gimmicky with cigars, but CigarMedic makes two things that are not gimmicks that I use all the time. The baller, I'll use this a lot. And then Rob's got the humidimeter.
I use this all the time.
That humidimeter is awesome.
And by the way, coming back from Vegas from the PCA trade show, this is getting like a workout right now, because it's like every cigar. Hey, I want to try this cigar. Let's boom, put it in there. Is it ready to smoke? Yes, it is. Boom. I'm like a machine with this.
Yeah.
But
Rob, I think we got a cool comment up here. Not even going to try to pronounce. I know we have something like XGC Predator.
Right. Predator.
Looks cool. Would work great for tight cigars. I think I agree with that.
Well, it's not just for tight cigars. To me, tight cigars, you can have a tight down here. You can have a tight right here. That has nothing to do with snipping off the head.
Yep.
So if you're worried about tight cigars, you need to get yourself a perfect draw. That's the tool for you. But in this regard, I just like how clean and crisp the cut is.
It's
how
nice.
Sharp the blade is.
Yep.
How beautiful it looks. It's just something new, guys. I mean, could you peel it with your fingernail? Could you use a $5 straight cutter? Absolutely.
Yep.
This is not a need. You don't need this.
Yep.
It's a want.
Especially when you and I, just having been at PCA at the cigar show, having multiple cigars with various cigar producers, I didn't see one of those producers actually use a cigar cutter to cut their cigar. Every last one of them either peels that cap with their fingernail or they bite it off. So Rob, you've just now lit your cigar with our next.
Right. Check this out real quick. So you can see that even this Fuego lighter doesn't get a perfect light all the way across. It's not meant to. You almost have to rotate it. So now
their instructions say do it a second time.
Yeah.
And when you get this, like a lot of technology that's chargeable via USB cable, 5 clicks.
Look at that.
It's now on.
I just got a flame on the end.
Right?
I love this lighter.
I'll show them here what this looks like getting hot.
If any of you
it's going to start getting hot there in the middle, and it'll go for 10 seconds.
From the 80s, you know what this is all about. This is the cigarette lighter that you pulled out of that old Oldsmobile center console, and, you know, your grandma, grandpa, or parents, you know, lit their, you know, parliaments on. So I thought I reached out to this company like 2 years ago, and I've been testing it this whole time. And I just really haven't found the right time to actually like review it. And I finally thought, like, what a better way to review this than with the baller. Yeah, you get a flame. I'm not telling you guys, I love this lighter only for the essence of, here's the top areas I use this lighter. Golf course.
Yep.
Boat.
Car.
Any wind. Car. Yeah.
Yep.
I have an open air Jeep, a Jeep Wrangler.
Yep.
I have no flame issues. I even use it on the relight. I just knock all the crap, all the ash off, hit it on the relight. Here's what I don't like about it. 2 things that I don't like. One
perfect
is if you look at Nate's, go ahead and look at Nate. Hold that one up if you don't mind. That one's brand new. I just put it on today. Here's my old one. You can't really tell, but the old one is dented. It's bent. The metal is bent. And the company does say these are replaceable. In fact, here is a kit to do that. There should be 2 here. That's what I got.
Yep.
One is on Nate's and the other new one's on mine because I'm kind of tossing this one out. It's like it's done. And obviously you saw the packaging on the website. It comes with the charge cord, the battery, and then the one thing. But these are, I don't even know the price of these. You'll have to go to the website. But this is replaceable. That's what I love about it. It's replaceable. The heads are replaceable. What I don't like, I don't like the fact that the head kind of is a little sensitive. It's not super sensitive, but you know, if you're drunk or you got a buddy that's drunk, don't give him this lighter because he'll jab his cigar in there and bend the thing all over. I mean, it's not a good idea.
Right.
But the second thing that I don't like about it is that the end is like as hot as my wife's curling iron when I get done, you know, pressing it 2 or 3 times to light my cigar.
It's hot.
So therefore, 2 things. It can't go right back into my pocket. I don't want to put it back. Like, I like the fact that this is shaped like a cigar. So in my travel case, you know, our Pelican travel cases, I just put it in there. And there's no fuel to mess with like any bad smells going into the cigars. Yeah, that's what I don't like about it. So there's no other way to cool it down. And on a hot summer day, it doesn't cool fast. In the wintertime, it cools like really quick.
So we got another question. Shout out to our great friend Omar from Ramsey Smoke Shop here in Minnesota. Omar says, can you bring it on a plane? Good question, buddy.
Yeah, you can bring this on a plane. I traveled to Vegas with this. So it's just like everything else when there's like, if you have any spare batteries that, you know, blah, 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 please take them out and take them on your carry-on. This is already in my carry-on. So I've traveled with this. I've traveled with the baller. I went to Vegas and came back to Vegas with a baller. So both of these travel. This is not a blade. It's not an open blade. And this is, you know, this is good. It's not an open flame. It's an element. And TSA doesn't like open flames. They like soft flames, but they don't like jets and blah, 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 blah. So both of these are great.
We need that in a soundbite.
Yeah, that's a soundbite. But go ahead, Nate. I'm going to start whipping out some other cigars, like bigger ring gauge cigars, and test out the baller.
So far, like, Matt, if you can cut to my cigar here, smoking perfectly. Overall, I really like the baller. It's a nice cut. You still get the nice curve of the end of that cigar. So like smoking it, it just feels natural when you're smoking the cigar. I would say there's a little bit of a learning curve.
Ooh, not bad.
Ooh, that actually worked well.
Okay.
Look at that.
So this is a giant Liga Privada, I don't know, Savage Feast.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big ring gauge cigar. And went ahead, it had a pigtail on it. So the pigtail needed to be removed. I just removed it with the baller. And then I took a second clip, and that was the indent I got. I like it. I like it.
I like it too.
It looks good. Now,
gonna try. I'm just a baby.
Here's the thing that I don't like about the baller. Somewhere on this, whether it be like a slide out, like the swish, not swisher, the Swiss Army knife where they have that toothpick that pops out. I want that somewhere built into this because the tobacco gets stuck in this hole.
Oh yeah, totally.
And now you can look at it on the backside, but I can't fit my finger in there to clear it.
And it's a blade, so we want to be careful.
Well, on the backside, it's not.
Oh, I mean, that part isn't. Okay.
Oh no, that is sharp. Never mind. No, that is that's sharp. Anyways,
I'd be careful.
I would be careful. It's that piece, and maybe they could re-engineer and not create that wave. I don't know. I'll ask them. But I don't like that. I don't know what to do other than get like a pick or something.
Rob, we got another great question from Michael Sharp if you want to read this one.
Yeah. Rob, with the baller and multiple cuts you did on the cigar, are you concerned with cutting too much off and affecting the shoulder? No.
You'd have to really cut a lot.
Look at mine. Maybe Nate, you can get it up closer.
Yep, it's perfect right there.
I mean, we're talking I'm looking at all three caps right now. I got 1, 2, 3 right there.
And same on mine.
And not even close. Not even close. Because the cool thing about it, Michael, is that it goes into the cigar like a melon ball. And really, when you bad cut it, all you did is it's like a backhoe. You got it in, but it came up too quickly. So it went in and cut too shallow. And so when you go back, the depth around the ring doesn't really change. And you just take a better cut at it. It's like it's like the backhoe coming back in and taking another pass, and okay, now you cleared the dirt.
Other than kind of the first two cuts where you're just opening that aperture a little bit, more that kind of the hole there a little more, you're really only then taking out a little extra from the inside. You're not getting anything on the shoulder. So you'd really have to do something.
You'd have to do some serious damage. But here we have a little mini torpedo or figurado, and we'll see what this does. I've never done it before. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I mean, of course, just like a, what do you call it? A perfect cut, where it has a back.
Yeah.
On any torpedo, you gotta do it multiple times. That would be about as far as I probably take that because that, I can see that.
But you still have a lot of that cap left.
I have a ton of it left. None of it is compromised. It's almost like a diagonal cut that I like to do with a straight cutter. It really doesn't on this skinny of a torpedo tip. It's really a straight cut, you guys. But that's what I like about it.
Rob CigarMedic is here joining us. Thanks for joining us, you guys. Yeah. You guys are awesome. Hi, fellas. Better results with cigar firmly placed in the cutter in your hand, not on a flat table. That's great advice. Got it.
Perfect.
We love this, by the way. This is great.
And now I'm looking at a Lancero. I got a Fratello Lancero here. I wanted to see how skinny can you go and still get a good cut. I mean, that's great.
I'd be totally happy with that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean, you still see the profile of the shoulder. Well, you have a nice clean cut.
There's a tiny learning curve to kind of get the cigar in there perpendicular. But apart from that, it's a beautiful cut on this cigar.
Now,
beautiful.
Here's my Allen
nice job, guys.
Yeah, we just need like a little Allen wrench that slides into the side of this thing or something. That would actually be really good because you could use the Allen wrench. And it's a 2 millimeter. If any of you guys are out there,
just watch the blades, so we don't
2 millimeter. And if you had an Allen wrench that could just slide right in here, so I don't know.
I had a plastic or something that wouldn't affect the blade.
But, well, technically, I'm not even really worried about the blade because the blade is hidden behind this housing here. So I'm not hitting the blade at all.
And maybe CigarMedics, if they're still with us here, can comment on, will that leftover residue eventually just push itself out, kind of like a punch cutter?
It might.
And go out the other end once you get enough in there to kind of push it out.
I just get anal, man. I just want a perfect cut every time. I did want to try... So we tried a big ring gauge. I wanted to try a box press.
So back to, we don't need to put his comment up again, but Michael, this is one of the first times, because I'm an avid straight cutter, and I try to get right at the edge of the shoulder, but this leaves a little more of the shoulder and takes out more of the cigar, so you get a fuller draw.
Box press, Romeo.
It's great.
My first cut was like that. And if I were smoking this, I'd go back for a second cut. And I'd probably go on the side where I see how this bottom piece has more tobacco than the top near the shoulder. So I would actually put the side where it's digging. So I'd flip it around in my hand, put the digger closest to the side with the most amount of cap, I guess, if that's the way you want to say it. And then just a nice firm cut.
Yeah. And CigarMedics, they say tap, tap, tap.
Yeah, of course. Tap, tap, tap.
Tap, tap, tap.
Tap this out. Yeah. So, overall, I absolutely love this product, the Baller. Here's what I'm going to do.
And Rob, it comes with this.
Yeah, it comes with that, the packaging.
Handy case. Let's see if I can pop this in there while we have it on camera. No need to squish it down. You just slide this in. And away you go. Keep it nicely. Oh, get that right. Get it nicely protected.
So it basically looks like that in the store. There's a nice QR code on the side that you can scan, watch the video. Maybe they'll put this video up there as well. I don't know. I like the carrying case because of two things. The one thing that I wish this did in a perfect world would be to lock. So it's smaller, less profile. I don't like how thick it is. I wish it could be slimmer. But again, this is the first type. So, pick and choose your battles here. And then, of course, if you were to accidentally over tighten these, I wish that these guide rails up at the top almost had a little, I don't know if you want to call it a bubble or an indent on the metal, and therefore could not physically be turned at all, right? Because then you could probably tighten the top and not worry about it.
Right.
So those are my notes. And then, of course, I wish there was an easier way to remove the bit of tobacco inside. So I got 3 things. 4 things? Did I say 4 things?
I feel like it was.
I wish it would lock.
Bigger.
I wish it was thinner. I wish these top
4 things,
guides didn't turn and there was kind of like a built-in guide. And then I wish there was an easier way, whether it be like a little pick tool that's included in here and pops out or whatever. So that's my 2 cents on this. Out of 10, I'm giving this a solid 7.3 right now. It's a really great product. 7.3. I like it. I use it. I don't feel like it's a waste of my time or a waste of my money. It's a solid 7.3. That's like, that's a good C+.
So Rob,
B-.
I'm going to give it a 7.7. I come from a long line of men in my family that are significantly OCD. And I have made it my life's mission to train myself to not fidget and fuss with things that I think are either loose or should be tightened. So I will say, while I notice this, I'm gonna leave that alone. So that one doesn't bug me. I will say in my Pelican case, I do like a thinner cutter, because if I have, let's say, 8 Toros in there, this is going to take up a little space and possibly squish the cigar. So I maybe wouldn't bring this in that case, but I think otherwise should fit fine.
And it's big in the pocket.
Yep.
I carried it around in my pocket. It's a little
big. Also, to me, the grooves on there, while I think that's a good idea, isn't going to bother me too much because I'm not going to mess with this. But I also do like the idea of this locking so that your finger doesn't, and something doesn't happen or it gets a piece stuck in there.
Sure.
I'm often throwing these in my pocket, and I did have a pretty nice cutter. I think the best guess is it somehow got the lighter that was also in my pocket, and it nicked the two blades in the middle. If this were closed and we weren't damaging this nice, super awesome curved blade in here, I think that'd be cool.
Cool.
So I say 7.7.
All right. Love it. It's a good wrap. Now on the En Fuego lighter, or sorry, Fuego lighter. I keep saying En Fuego. The Fuego lighter. I'm going to give this a solid 6.8 because I think it has a lot of use cases. I think it's really great, but it's not my everyday carry. It's more situational based, but I think a 6.8 is good. Like a 6.8 to me, anything above a 5 is doing good.
Yep. And I'm going to go 6.4. It's bigger than I'll typically carry, but I would for sure use this in any high windy environment, golf course. It's substantial, so you're not going to worry about, other than the grate on the top.
Right.
I'm pretty careful with stuff. I'm not worried about wrecking that apart from just the cigars. Works beautifully, like 1 or 2 touch-ups and you were lit. I mean, you saw it, flame coming out. For me, it's really just about size and having one more thing I have to charge. I have butane around all the time.
That's a great point.
I'm going to forget to charge this. And if I'm out, I'm going to be like, crap, where's my Bic?
Yeah.
Or where's my other lighter?
I forgot about the recharging.
So as far as functionality for me, I would probably use this more like in the office as my tabletop lighter because it's so slick. You don't have all that flame. You don't have to worry about lighting microphone covers on fire, because what you can't see is I've got a couple burn marks here because I'm a noob.
That's why it's situational based for me, because it's like, oh, I'm going golf and make sure my lighter's charged.
Right.
Or my Fuego.
I might just keep this in my golf bag. This might be my golfing lighter.
Right.
And then you just have to remember, have one other extra just in case you forget to charge it. But I got to think this battery is going to last quite a while.
It does.
Like quite a while.
It does.
And I'm pretty careful, so I don't see myself running out of these all that quickly.
Right.
I like it. I would definitely use it. It works really efficiently.
That's it. I mean, that's a wrap. I mean, thank you for the comments. Is there anyone else that we need to pop a comment on? But I mean, that is literally it.
Let's try this one. Michael commented again. Have you compared smoking the same cigars using a straight cutter and the baller if the cigar changes with the amount of smoke produced, along with the taste or enhanced, or are they both similar?
Similar.
Really similar.
My palate is not that advanced, man. If I get buildup, I taste the bitter right away because it's like, and it's off-putting.
Yep.
So then I do 2 things. I either use a different product that will feature later, or I just cut again. I don't want to use a punch cutter unless I'm desperate. Even then, I'll use my fingertip. Sure.
I would use this equally with a straight cutter if I had it available. So I'd say it's very similar. Then we had one more comment down there that we can cover from.
I heard only a limited number of ballers have been produced. Is this correct?
Username's great.
Yeah. I don't know what is it? Okay. Just put it back up there. It's a good question. It's fine.
That's hilarious.
Goes right over my head anyways.
That's hilarious.
We know that they're starting up production. So we met them at the trade show. They have to take orders and then place a pretty big, significant investment in the production of it. So what I'm hoping ends up happening is that a bunch of retailers this last week or weekend ordered a bunch of these, and so that we can get a good amount manufactured and out into the retail shops, so you guys can pick them up, call your local retail tobacconists, see if they got it. And then from there, as they start to pick up production, cash flow is good. You guys are supporting it. They'll just keep getting more and more made. And the investment will be much easier for them. And they'll probably come out like they did with the humidimeter. They've come out with version 2. I'm still waiting on that. Production takes a while, guys.
Yep.
So it is what it is.
Rob, we got one more good one from CigarMedic there, right above Michael. And I like this. This makes perfect sense. We purposely didn't add a lock to rapidly allow you to recut and rapidly clear tobacco. Smart.
See?
And that comes in handy.
Smarter than me.
Smarter
than me.
Makes perfect sense. Thanks, guys.
Because if I had to then open it to discharge the tobacco,
correct,
then I'd be frustrated. So see, it's not all about what you think is right.
Half dozen of the other.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I think, oh, I wish it did this. And then when you actually do it, you're like, I don't like that.
Yep.
So a lot of time and energy has been put into both of these products. So, pick them up. If you think they're interesting, pick them up.
Cool stuff.
Support them. Then they'll get more made.
I like it.
Anyways, that's a wrap, man.
That's it for me.
Thanks everyone for joining us. Have a great weekend.
Cheers, guys.